So I see personal branding as, just the way you project yourself. When people know you enough, then your personal branding is strong. But if they don't know you enough, then you're not really doing a lot of personal branding.
Welcome to another episode of The Perspective with Rayven, where we have real-life conversations about the journey and what life has brought to us so far. Today, I'm here with a very good friend of mine, someone I admire so much, Nathaniel J. Ogwuche, also known as Nate Genius. How are you, brother?
I'm good, my brother. How you doing?
Nice to have you, man.
Good to have you too. I've been good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. How's it been? How's life?
It's been pretty good. It's been everyday work, as you know. So, I mean, we're just still going on that journey, on that path.
I love that. So, I met you 2015?
2015, a long time ago.
Yeah. And to me, I think one of the first things that struck me about you was you always saw things beyond what they were at the point. I remember I met you when we were doing stuff with Jamrock.
Yeah.
And we're trying to do promo. And you came to a partner of mine, Ali Grandma, and you told him that you could do some stuff for us.
Yeah.
And because I was handling marketing, Hadi said, speak to Jackpo. And from the first conversation, I remember one of the first things I said to you is dude, we can't pay you. I remember I was we can't pay you because, but then I think what I appreciate about that experience was the fact that you said, but you also know where you can create your value from.
Yeah.
So how's that been, being able to create value out of almost nothing sometimes?
I can remember that story yesterday. Yes. Because so when I started this journey, I'd set out plans on how I want to bring my brand out and just move in terms of growth. And then I was just looking out for platforms, people that are doing well in whatever scene, in whatever industry. And then I knew Jamrock you guys were doing a lot of raves and events. You were big in the entertainment space, and I was like, okay, maybe I could collaborate in some way. So when you even said when you had come to me and said, okay, we can't pay you, I was like, don't worry, I know what I'm doing, right? So I wanted to. It was more of putting my brand out there because I was starting up then, and I needed to move. I needed to grow. I needed people to see me, and then obviously see what I can give to this space and this craft of mine. And then that was how I started to work and do some stuff for Jamrock. And then the funny story is that when I had contacted Ali, it wasn't the first time. So I contacted him the first time. I told him, I was like, okay, the next Jamrock, did the first one, did the second one. I kept on contacting him. I kept on messaging him. I was like, guy, I can do stuff for you guys. At that time, nobody was doing
video programs,
video things like this. So even with the drone, I had a drone. I was like, let me do something for you guys. For example, I sent him a video. So things, something like this. Now we can do aerial. We can get drone shot to show everybody. Who's this looks good. Okay, speak to. That's when he now said speak to you. So at first it was even the drone thing that kind of captured him, and then we started creating stuff for Jamrock, and then most of the video promo that came up from Jamrock, the short video, 15 seconds, Instagram I was creating for you guys, and I was actually helping Jamrock with visibility.
And of course, it was great.
It was helping my brand as well.
And another thing that you also did for us is we used to get our audio for our jingles from your recordings as well. I remember one time we're going back and forth at 45 seconds versus 60 seconds for, I think it was Sound City at the time, and I think what I enjoyed is you're very intentional about your output, right? And what it is from a visual perspective, how you want it to be, right? Have you always been like that?
So one big thing for me is value, creating value in your work. So when I started, I just wanted to be the best. And till today in my mind, I know that I'm the best at what I do, right? I know that nobody can do it better. It's not pride. It's just what I tell myself every day. It helps me challenge myself. And then, so it's always been like that from that time, even when you come up to okay, so I look at how the professionals do it. For example, I go out to look at, okay, will these guys do something like this, and then I'll use the same, even at that stage where I had only probably one camera and my sound wasn't the best, but then I was making sure I was trying to give the same quality as what these other guys are doing. They say if you aim for 100%, you don't get to 100, you get to about 70, right? So I was always aiming for 100%, even 150% sometimes. So I was able to, give you what you wanted at that time.
It was great, man. But then all of a sudden, we were trying to get hold of you, and like, all the big weddings, you're there. And I was just like, Nate, how far? Like, dude, it's not like you weren't available again. Like, how did you transition? Because all of a sudden, it's like everyone knew Nate Genius from all these weddings, and like we used to see on the blogs. This is the guy that had access to all of a sudden. Like, I did it. What was that like? How did you get there?
So with that, I so my friend was getting married in 2014. So we're in uni together, and he had moved back to Nigeria at that time. I was getting married. He got married pretty early. And I had told him about this idea, so I had just found this passion somehow. I'm like, guy, I think I have an idea on how we can tell a story for your wedding, right? And how we can create this thing. And when I explained to him, he liked the idea, but he didn't understand what I was talking about. Because at that time, there was nothing like that. So videos at 2014, up to that time, videos were still that whole, the old way of recording video where one camera is recording the whole day, then they give you the whole thing, the shaky, the noise, everything. There was no story to it, right? And then I wanted to create story to that, and that's when I said, okay, let me create this for him. And we just started like with interviews with him and his bride here and there. So I was able to put the pieces together and create a story out of it. So that trended. That went crazy. Everybody was like, what is this? This is new. I use drones, slow motions, music, sound effects, everything. I was just very intentional about the story I was trying to tell. And then people could see the story, could take in the story in just 15 seconds, because Instagram was still 15 seconds at that time.
Wow,
and then I had a YouTube version, and then it redirected people to YouTube. So it was crazy. It was a new thing that people had not seen before. And then other people started to call me for something similar, and then that's how it went on like that. And then I was already I knew that I was going to diversify. I knew that I wanted to separate, because when I came in first, it wasn't weddings, to be honest. I was thinking commercials, right? And then, so that's why I kind of held on to Jamrock, because I knew that Jamrock wasn't weddings, and then that would help me separate, create that separation. And then that's when the separation started, with weddings and then, corporate and commercial jobs.
Nice, because you've done like some really, really nice. I remember one time I met you at Zodara.
Yeah.
And you're just telling me, I think it was a Malta Guinness thing that you're doing. Yeah. And I was like, dude, this guy, you've gone far, man. Like, but another thing I know about you as well is you're very big on like relationships.
Yeah, I am.
And one of the things I appreciate about is like your ability to let your network work for you. But then, how do you maintain that balance with letting your network work for you and not exploiting it? It's a very thin line.
I know. So, your journey through life, you meet people, right? You connect with people. So you can either connect with people with love, or with with purpose, or whatever you want to connect people, or you connect people in other ways, right? With me, I've always connected with people with purpose, right? Because I always see it as like everybody you meet, there's a reason why you meet that person, right? So I always look for the reason behind why you meet that person. So I don't meet people randomly. It's never random for me. Even if it is, I just tell myself it's not random.
There's something behind it.
So there's something behind it. So with that, it just kind of helps me with that strong connection, and then creating something in the long run with them, like with this now. You understand? Yeah. I've known you since 2015. We've always, met like now and then. We've talked about like, things like this. And then I know that it might not even be now. I know that there's also other things that we're going to do together. And it's always been like that throughout my journey.
No, I like that. But then it's like, how did you evolve from a place where initially you were just the person behind the camera, and then all of a sudden I see that you're doing trainings, doing teachings? Is it one of those things like when you have this obligation to share or teach? Was that what it's?
I think it's knowing, is having that strong passion for what you do, and it's like there's the overflow of like, he's just like a cup of water that it's too full and it's pouring out. So I need to give out, right? I need to share. I need to bring other people. I need to let people know what I understand about this thing. I feel like there's certain things I know about it that a lot of people don't know. That's how I feel. So I just want to give back. I'm always interested in like, sharing. And then, I was now the brand ambassador for Sony 2021. And then, that kind of like aided a lot of that teachings as well, because what I do for them, is also do trainings, teach people about storytelling, about all of these things that that comes together in the creative industry, and then that, you know, helps bring people up in that sense.
Oh, that's so cool, man. It's like when I saw like the Sony ambassadorship, I was just like, wow. Do you know what I mean? It's like for a brand that reputable to source for you, right? And say you're the man that I want to work with. And I know you've done trainings in other parts of Africa, in Dubai as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so what is it like being like an African creative, right? With kind of perception have about us, how are you able to show your quality, right, in the international stage in a way that where you're from doesn't really matter that much. How are you able to zone in on your quality?
You know, give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. There's that saying where, you know, when you go to a new space, just understand, you know, what it's about, how things are done there, and then always try to meet that mark. So with me, it's the experience of doing so many things in so many phases of life, right? So I've just understood that, you know, different challenges give birth to a new purpose, right? In anything you do. And so when you put me anywhere now, I'm just good. I know how to,
because you know what you bring.
Oh yes,
so that's your focus. What you bring.
I know what I bring. I know that's my focus. I don't focus on what people do or what they create in their own way. I just focus on what I bring to the table and what I create, because it's so with this thing, it's, you know, there's that God-given thing where you God is a creator. He created us with purpose, and then when you have a bit of that, or where you're trying to tap into that God-given, that God likeness in you, you want to be able to create something, and then there's in whatever you create, people see it in different ways, right? So when you're creating something, focus on what you are creating, because people would take the different stories in that interpreted their own way.
So your own focus is telling your own story in your own way.
Yes,
and living interpretation.
And living interpretation, and then however, whatever passion, whatever you put into that, people will see, people will feel it. You know, there are different emotions that can be evoked from just a small story. And then that's what I focus on. You know, that's what I focus on.
Because I saw a video of you online when you were talking about like how people underestimate the power of emotions from videos. How it will evoke a certain feeling about a wedding, and also positive energy will just go around. And I found that very interesting. It's like you seem to have a spiritual outlook as well, right? Like you see things deeper than just the physical. And would you say you're religious, spiritual? What's that?
I'm a very spiritual person. I believe that we are first spirit beings before we are flesh and blood. So yes, with everything I do, I come from that angle. Even with creation, I know that, you know, I'm tapping into my God-given skill in what he had done in the first place, which was create. And then, so when I create from that line. So I try to put everything into what I create so that you feel something from it. It's crazy how I'll just give you one funny story. So there's one time, you know, we said to go grow, get busy, you know, so big team, grow team and everything. So there's this client of mine that was a returning client, right? So she wanted me to edit something for her, right? They had sent something, I gave my people to edit, sent it to her. She was like, no, Nate, I'm not okay with this. Give someone else in the team to edit, someone very good. Sent it to her again. She was like, no, I'm not good. This is not you that edited it. I said, how do you, it's me, it's coming from me. And, you know, so for third time, the same thing. So I just sat down and I was like, you know, let me just edit it. As soon as I edited the video, sent to her, she was like, this is you that edited this video. It's crazy how they can tell. So they could feel the emotions that have been evoked from this video. So they know the intentionality and sound in your cuts, in your angles, in everything you do. So these people know your work. And that's some of the other hard things that I had to deal with, you know, with like, you know, growth.
So are you able to continuously spread your value without you having to be the one?
There. So that's why I train now.
So I was going to ask that as well. So how are you able? So I think you can train the skill sets. Right? I think that's the easiest, but we've always had that conversation. But then how do you train the mindset and this energy transfer of creation? Is like,
that's the hardest part, I think.
So but you seem to...
it's the hardest part, but like it's not overnight. So I do these trainings for like a long period of time. You know, while I just bring someone on board, and then just even with my everyday life, they learn something. So they're just absorbing, you know, things, and then you could tell, and when they now create something, you can see the effect in what they create. So it's that's why when I bring people on there with me for a long period of time, because
I want them to
really soak in.
Oh, that's interesting. So speaking of creation, like I know obviously your first brainchild, I'm assuming, is Nate Genius.
Yeah.
Right. What is Nate Genius about?
Nate Genius is a movement.
It's a movement, okay.
Nate Genius Media, it's a media company it's out there to create and to obviously give you what you want. So everybody have like a story they want to tell in their mind. Every business, every person, right? So I'm just able to fill in that gap, right? So what exactly do you want? And what exactly you want is what I want to give to you. So that's what Nate Genius is about. Then Nate Genius as a person is just someone that wants to give back, someone that wants to impact and just want to live with purpose and intentions and not just,
live. Interesting. So I'm guessing, like, I know you're also a co-director, co-founder of Natsu as
yes,
well.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've been very interested about that because I see some of the work that's been done. I see some malls, but I know that knowing Nate, right, there's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
Right? So I was hoping that maybe you could just shed some more light on that.
Yeah, so I'm a co-founder at Natsu Global. Right. So I and my wife started a company, Natsu. It's in our name, so Nat and Asasu. So we with that, that's when I kind of broke out some part of my portfolio in real estate. So have like a couple of projects around that we have done together, and then also just dived into hospitality. So I have a restaurant now called Nola, and
we'll definitely to host us there.
Yeah, 100%. Come through, come eat. No, and then so we have that part of things, and then there's the media side. But I try my best not to shift my focus from my first love, right, which is what I do. My media.
I love that. But then also, I know like on this journey, like partnership is a big thing. Right? You're talking about working with your wife, and because I met her before as well.
Yeah.
Like worked on Osasu show and everything. It's like brilliant wife, right? So just like amazing. How has that shaped your progression in this space? Like having someone like that as a partner that has understanding of media from a different space, and like, but the synergy is great. Like, how's that been?
You know what is the most interesting thing about that union? It's the fact that we have our strengths in different aspects. So she is more of the organizer, the very structured person. I'm more of the networking guy, very social, connect with people, all of that stuff. So we bring that together, and it brings out this crazy force in everything we do. And when we realized that's when we started to do business together. It's crazy how
the business wasn't initially, right?
No. We just, when we came together, we had just thought about, doing business together. And then we just saw our strengths and weakness and put it together and created something.
But then, I think for a man, like, it takes a lot of having I think we've had this conversation. Like having your ego take the back seat. Knowing that your partner might see things better than you.
Yes, exactly.
So how do you cope? Because like I know like she's strong-willed, you're strong-willed, and like how you navigating that? Like
it's sometimes it's crazy because we don't clash always, but as with your partner you clash a bit. But it's just understanding that everybody means well. Right, at the end of the day, everybody means well, and this journey we're one now, right? So it's for the growth of us as a union, is to strengthen that bond and strengthen that unity, and then understanding that just helps things flow easily, and then understanding the fact that this is your strength, this is my strength, let's come together and make something work, right? So once we understand that, then we flow. We're now like partners, and we grow.
I love it. It's refreshing to see it because I see the way you work and the projects, and I like the fact that like I can see a bit of your handwork in hers, and I can see, which is amazing. And one thing I find interesting about you is like you're confusing culturally. Like I know what you mean. You're dressed like from somewhere in the north. I know you're Igbo, right? And like people are confused. Like, what was your upbringing like?
upbringing. So I was born in, a lot of people don't know this, but I was born in Kano State. I grew up in Kano State, lived in Kano State up to about when I was 16. So I left Kano.
You speak Hausa?
I speak Hausa very well.
Very well.
Oh yes,
no wonder you're getting
a lot of people don't know. So the northern jobs, it was I think my first job, first ever job in this path was a northern job, and then that just kind of like, you know, moved on to other northern
jobs.
Speaking
language must have helped.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
because it
does a lot to be honest.
The landscape.
It does a lot to be honest.
And some communication is just better in local.
Oh yeah. So there are 10 jobs that, you know, I don't know if I should say this, but there are 10 jobs that I've even some big jobs, good jobs that, you know, I noticed that, you know, we're talking about it, like, you know, trying to seal the deal, maybe a contract of some sort, you know, and then I noticed that there's a bit of slack and delay. I just throw in outside.
Throw the new dimension.
Just throw in outside quickly. I say, okay, when you know, it's, you know, they'll be like, you're making me speak all this Yaren Oyibo, you know, like speaking Oyibo language, English, all that. So, let's do quickly. It just buys the trust, and then they understand that you
understand them.
Yes, I do understand them so much, and that's why I think I work so easy with them.
But that makes sense.
They are the most easygoing people. No wahala, you know. So it's just it's a free flow of you know, even helps with my creative juice. To be honest, I love to, especially with the weddings. I love to, because they have a lot of story in their culture, the way they go about and the way they go about things. So I enjoy, you know, northern weddings so much because you have no idea.
Like, so we were just seeing the outcome. No, you don't know what is going.
You have no idea. There are cultures where they're washing the girl's hair with rice or with milk. There's some that she puts her hand in rice and wash it. There's so many things, you know, put the feet, they wash the feet, they spray perfumes. There's so many meanings to all of these things. So what I started to do with with the wedding brand is, you know, we interview, so we document this wedding. So now I have like a package where it's like a documentary for your wedding. And then, you know, I don't show up to all the events, but
so you being in there's an extra
exactly. So there's an extra fee for me showing up, right? And then me showing up is also creating that documentary like film for your wedding, and then we tell the stories of all of these things, right? So what's the significance behind
not just the how, but the why?
Yes. What is this? And then they tell us everything, and then we'll put it together and even create like a series out of it.
So that's so interesting. I love that. Like, so at the core, every time I listen to you, like at your core, you're a storyteller.
Yeah,
I think that's what you enjoy.
That's what I love.
But then you came into this space from a visual perspective.
Yeah.
But now it seems like you've evolved.
Yeah.
Because I see, like, now with your restaurant, like, you have a better understanding of lifestyle. So there's a lifestyle entertainment element there.
Yeah.
Right? But is it not tricky from everything that it's not a bit tricky compared
It's not tricky. I think everything ties into to everything. Like it just all ties in together. Because I'll just give you also an example with the restaurant. I try to tell a story even with the restaurant. So with the guest coming in, right? The feel, the look and feel, you know, how I want them to perceive the place, how I want them to feel. I intentionally create that, right? Let me spill the tea. So there's even with the flow of music, right? So the time the music changes, you know, I intentionally create that.
Right.
So at a certain time, the music goes from house music to amapiano. Right. A certain time, it goes from amapiano to Afrobeat. A certain time, it goes. It's not random. It's not random. Right. It's intentional because you want people to come there, feel a certain way. You can't deny the fact that house music makes you feel like you're on holiday. You know, you want to do cocktails. You want to, you know, that's whole. It just gives you a nice, chilled, but a bit of hyper vibe. And then, you know, amapiano now takes you to the other mode. After you've taken one or two cocktails, you know, you feel like you want to leave, then we'll just throw in amapiano. Right? So you're like, oh, let me stay here longer. You know, you're already grooving. Then you get tired of that again. You've done a few more drinks or, you know, more food and stuff, more money to the business.
Of course.
And then you're about leaving again and we'll throw in the Afrobeat. So you're there for a long time. So I create story even in that, right? So this is what this has helped me.
Wow. Nate Genius. This guy is so much, man. Like, I really enjoyed this conversation, man. Like, I'm seeing you different. Like, I've known you for years,
I know.
but I'm hearing your story and seeing how far you've come. It's really refreshing. And
thank you so much.
And I want to just commend you for the work you're doing.
Also, seeing your growth, Jack Paul. You know, it's not today. We've always had like these meetings throughout our journey, and we've talked about how how much we're proud of each other. I talk about your work. I talk about how you're very intentional with like your own personal branding and your growth in everything you do. You can see that the way you carry yourself, the way you want to project yourself to people, and then it attracts a lot of good network to you, and I see that happening a lot. So people just want to call you to their, even with the entertainment space, you just have that unlocked. People want you to be part of their brand so that they can grow and join more network. So,
to be honest, like I feel like that's why I wanted us to have this conversation as well. I think as men, especially African men, we have a lot of shallow conversations.
Yeah.
Don't really enrich us or don't really create value. But every time I've spoken with you, right, like even like doing this, there was a video of yours that I saw that really made me want to do it. When you were talking about the emotions, I remember, and I can also still remember the video, the shade. And I said to myself, it's like I would love to document some stories like this. So yeah, so Nate, we're talking about like
Funny brand,
and I think that has a lot to do with your personal brand.
Oh yes, 100%.
And you have a unique take on it.
Yes.
So what is your take on personal branding? How do you see it?
So I see personal branding as just the way you project yourself. When people know you enough, then your personal branding is strong. But if they don't know you enough, then you're not really doing a lot of personal branding. With also Sonny reaching out, it was just the way I had put out value in my work and what I do, and also not just putting out value, but showing it, right? So talking about it, putting out on your whatever platform you are in, social media, Instagrams, Twitter, X now, YouTube, Facebook, just putting your work out there for people to find you. That is how strong you can grow your personal brand, and then creating that separation in from your business to your personal brand. So I was able to do that at some point in my life where I was like, okay, people know me for this, but I don't want people to just know me for this alone. How am I going to let people know the other sides of my life and other things I do? So I was able to create that separation where, okay, Nate Genius is this, Nate Genius Media, Nate Genius Films is this, and then it's crazy how I put that to the test one time when I was invited to speak at an event, right? Personal branding, because I've taken that serious. I was invited to speak at an event, a conference in Hilton by British Council in partnership with American Embassy. And then they hired Nate Genius Media to film, to document the event.
So two of your brands were eating.
So we're there at the same time. So me involved in the event, and then the company, the media company, documenting and covering the event. So, since then I've just been very intentional about the personal branding thing.
No, I do understand that as well, because like I'm someone that does a lot of things as well. And initially I started to realize that like I was stifling myself from earning because I was just lumped into one thing.
Exactly.
And differentiating the brand and just having people identify in different ways for different things has really
helped. And it helps a lot. It helps because now, for example, with brands like Dangote, we're doing. We've done something. Yeah, we've done something before. We're doing something for them again. We're doing documentaries. We've been doing different things for them. With Guinness, and all these brands I've worked with. So it's no longer, come create this for us, right? It's more of, okay, Nate, come tell us why we need to create this, right? Break it, do presentations, talk to us about it, tell us what this is going to do for the brand, right? So look at the loopholes in the company and then help fill up these loopholes with the strategies you're trying to implement. That is the personal branding. And then after that, we now bring in the aspect of the creation.
All right. So there's a strategy development that is you
exactly
as an individual. You coming, you working.
Because now they know that, okay, he understands this, he knows this, he teaches about this, he talks about this. Okay, let's call him, let's get his expertise in that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you even get paid for that, consultancy, and then you still get paid for
That is
the work you do.
right. So I'm guessing like with personal branding, it's no longer a choice in this modern
It's
world.
no longer a choice. It's a must do. If you want to, keep evolving, I think it's something that you must adapt to your everyday life.
We have the trick game.
What's the trick game, please?
The trick game is the cards of thoughts, right? So we're going to try and make this as random as possible.
Okay. No problem.
I'm just going to let you pick a card, pick from one of the decks.
Okay.
And then, okay.
Trust me, I didn't see it. But so it's a good one.
You got to read it out. Let's hear.
So it says, if I could plant one message in the world, what would it be?
What would it be? What would Gino's message be?
So I would say just one line, one sentence. Don't just create with purpose, right? There's so much noise in the world. There's so much distractions. But if you move with intentionality, you move with purpose, and you create with love, you will leave a mark on this earth that even time cannot erase. Bam.
Bam.
That's all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jack.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time. And yeah, can't wait for this to be out.
No problem. All right.